Yo, what's up, everybody? Today I wanted to talk a little bit about Touge. Touge is a style of racing that was popularized by Initial D, and I watched Initial D roughly a month ago and was just kind of obsessed with the vibe, the art, um, the sort of 90s aesthetic to it, and all of that sort of stuff. And I was looking for a place in gaming that I could kind of get involved with that sort of thing, and I ended up finding a cool little community in Assetto Corsa. So I wanted to talk a little bit about Touge Racing, what makes this offering so special, um, you know, how you could potentially get this set up and get involved, rules of Touge Racing, etiquette, stuff like that. So let's just go ahead and hop into it. I am currently in VR, and I thought it would be kind of interesting to put you in the passenger seat. Cute little dynamic. Also, there was a lot of moving around there at the beginning. And also, if you thought my arcade stick was loud, my driving wheel has got to be like a force multiplier on that. I've tried to move the microphone to make it as bearable as possible, but ear users be warned, all right? So we're going to go ahead and set off now. I tried to record this like just on my monitor before because narrating in VR is kind of awkward for me at the moment. But my spatial awareness was just so fucked. I kept like sliding into walls and stuff, and I was like, okay, maybe this is not the best visual example of what this could be like. I say as I literally hang onto the curb and spin out of control. Jesus, maybe I just can't drive today. I don't know. Anyway, what is Touge? Touge is a style of racing that has you driving down and up mountain passes. It's most similar to, I guess, rally video games, just because usually the appeal is that the course is very tight and it's a little bit hard to navigate. And since I'm narrating, I'm just gonna take it easy. I'm not gonna push myself. I'm just gonna very casually stay in like second and third gear and just drive down the mountain. It's fine. But yeah, it's usually like a 1v1 duel down or up a mountain. And it's a lot of fun. What makes it so unique as an offering as far as driving games goes is that usually when you are looking at different driving games, you have to choose between whether you want a prim and proper simulator or if you want style, is the way that I'll put it. So you could play iRacing, you could play Forza Motorsport, you could play Assetto Corsa, Competizione, that sort of stuff. But you're getting like a very curated, like GT, like sponsored cars, like it all looks like very prim and proper, right? And then if you want like a street style and aesthetic to it with like JDM cars and neon lights and all of that sort of stuff, then you're kind of forced to play something like a Need for Speed or the other game, The Crew. I don't know. So those games are obviously not sims. They honestly, to me, feel pretty bad to play on a steering wheel. Some of them don't even have steering wheel support anymore, which is just baffling to me. But anyway, this is the only place that I've been able to find where you can merge that sort of... I'll push around this corner. Where you can merge that kind of realistic simulation style with the style of like JDM cars and street racing and that sort of vibe. Hey, that's all right. So, this is Assetto Corsa. There are a couple of different servers that you can play on for Touge Racing. There are the Touge Life servers run by the Touge Union Discord, and there are the Kaido Battle Tour servers that are run by the Kaido Battle people. The Discords will be in the description. I don't remember what the name of that server is, but the Touge Life servers are basically simpler servers that don't have as many modded cars. They don't have any modded cars, actually. They just have a couple of Japanese DLC cars on them. So all like official Assetto Corsa assets, other than the map. And yeah, they're very casual. Like you can have as many of the assists on as you want, and it's mostly just about driving down the mountain with other people. No real structure or anything to it. There are people that are on there to race. There are people that are on there to drift these corners. It's just kind of a chill environment. I have oversteered, and now we're going to go in reverse for just a second. And... hey, we're good. Cut that out. Cut that out of the video. Appreciate you. What are we doing? Right. The Kaido Battle Tour servers, by comparison, are a little bit more competitive. So, like, the assists will generally be off. There's a wider selection of maps on the Kaido Battle Tour servers. There's a wider selection of cars on the Kaido Battle Tour servers. And the Kaido Discord is what I'll call it. KaidoNet? I think that's what it is. Something like that. Whatever. The Kaido server, they run like tournaments in organized events, right? So I know that there's like a novice tournament, there's an intermediate tournament, there's a special stage tournament. There's just a bunch of different events that they try to run regularly for people that are into this sort of stuff. So I think that is super cool. Assetto Corsa and all of its various mods are like kind of a pain to set up. Like the thing is that it's time consuming, right? Going and fetching all of the various things that you need, especially because like once you start getting into Kaido Battle Tour servers, a lot of those cars don't like come in a pack that you can just download. At least this is what I recall. Maybe I'm bugging, but sometimes they're not like in a zip file you can just download and then slam into your mod manager. Sometimes you have to like go and manually find each and every one of them, but it's whatever. It's not like it's difficult, it's just time consuming. Fortunately, I've forgotten a decent amount of what that process looks like because I did it like a month ago. So I'm absolved of the responsibility of having to teach you how to do it. Heyo. Isn't that neat? So what is Touge racing? Like what are the rules? How do you actually do it, right? So I mentioned before, let's stay on the road here. I mentioned before it's a 1v1 style of racing. Typically it's like a cat and mouse style of system, right? You have a mouse that's out front and a cat that is behind. The runner, the person that's out front, has to try to break away and get far enough ahead of the opponent by the end of the course. And the person that is behind basically is just trying to pass the person that's in front of them by the end of the course. So the way that it'll work is you and your opponent, one of you will be out front, one of you will be behind, just naturally. Either you can select or it'll just happen organically if you're on one of these like Touge Live servers, right? But the like proper rules are if you make it down a mountain and you're still like riding the bumper of the guy in front of you, then that would be considered a draw. If you make it down the mountain and the person in front has broken away, then that person immediately wins. If you make it down the mountain and the person behind has passed the person that was in front of them, then they immediately win. But if it's a draw, like you're in the same positions and as close to each other at the at the bottom of the mountain as you were at the top, or vice versa, then it's considered a draw and you run the course again, except you switch positions, right? So the person that was in the back would then be in the front and whatnot. So that is technically how a Touge race works, but frankly, everything is so loose and there's no like proper structure that enforces something like that. So you might have to like go and ask somebody in a Discord server for like a proper race if you want to get that going, or you know, just enjoy the casual, sporadic downhill, uphill races that happen on various servers, right? It's gonna be a lot of fun either way. Whoa! I'm way less used to the uphill. You would think if you know the downhill, you know the uphill, but no, not at all. Actually, it feels like an entirely different course. You kind of like round the corner and you're like, oh, right, it's this corner. Right, okay. Anyway, one thing I want to mention about etiquette. On some of the most popular Touge servers, they are one way. So the map name for the server will say like Akina downhill, specifically downhill, or uphill. Or it'll say inbound or outbound or something like that. And those phrases, I guess they're not phrases, they're just words. But those words mean that there's a direction to where everybody's driving, right? Other servers are not going to specify. I've oversteered again. Other servers are not going to specify because there is two-way traffic, or sometimes they will just literally say two-way traffic. If you are on one of those servers, I highly recommend pulling up the little mapoid. What the hell is this thing called? Can I if I do this, does it show it to you? Can you see this? Yeah, kind of. Can I move this up? No. Okay, that's not great. But like right here is like a little map, right? If I drive, you see that I move down the course. This is incredibly hard because the field of view is actually really fucked. Whoa, I can't drive like this. Also my force feedback died because I clicked off the window. Cool stuff, cool stuff. I love this steering wheel. Whoa, let's unplug it and then plug it back in. Ew. Anyway, I highly recommend having the minimap up. The reason is that when there's two-way traffic, there will be people driving on both sides of the road. When there are people approaching, you want to be able to get over into the left-hand lane, specifically the left-hand lane because we are driving in not America, basically. I guess America is the only place that drives on the left side of the road, but we're driving in Japan. Let's not be a bigot. We're driving in Japan. So the left side of the road is the legal side of the road that we want to be on if there is traffic coming the other direction. However, you want to have the mini-map up because if there isn't traffic coming in the other direction, you want to be able to use the entire road, right? Especially for getting good times and racing on these courses. Sometimes you're side by side with people and you're taking up literally the entire road. So it's just good to know when people are coming so that you're not racing so hard that you end up messing up somebody else's race. But again, that's just two-way server etiquette. Some of the most popular servers, you're not even going to have to deal with that. And I recommend just staying on those servers for some of your first runs. Let's see. What else is there? Oh, another thing. I don't know if other people would give you a hard time about this, but this is something that bugs the fucking shit out of me. In Initial D, there was a technique that Takumi does called a blind attack. Basically, he would be chasing somebody, so just imagine that there's a car in front of us. He would be chasing somebody, and then all of a sudden, to get around him, he would turn off his lights, try to swerve around him, and then turn his lights back on. It's called a blind attack, right? The idea being that you literally can't tell if he's still behind you because he's turned his headlights off. Like, if I look in my rearview mirror, it just looks black back there, right? That was a cartoon. that was a cartoon. So I need people to stop turning off their lights behind me. I really do. There have been so many instances where like I'm in a pretty good race with somebody and then there's a third person that's like behind us that I don't even know is there because they just don't have their lights on. And then we get fucking dive bombed by the guy trying to do their own blind attack and we literally all just die. Part of being able to like racing is a gentleman's sport in a way, right? Gentle et, I don't know. It's a gentle person sport, okay? And so that means trying to be mindful of other people's space and trying to respect the fact that they are in an automobile and that an automobile has inertia and weight and that they can't just be in a different place because you want them to. That cars have width and that you need to give them enough room on the road to actually drive it. And those things are also going to go a really long way. Another thing that's incredibly important if you're racing on any kind of online server is to make sure you have your reset button in a place that's very easy to access. If I come into this corner here and I'm going way too fast, oh no! And I know that there's people behind me because I've been using my mini-map. Then I can just immediately go, whoop, and then I'm back. Very, very useful. Basically just for making everybody not hate you. If you're driving in front and you're making a risky move and then you end up crashing out and then you ruin like the race of another person that's behind you, they're not going to be too pleased. So that is my recommendation. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I think that this is a lot of fun. One other thing I'll touch on because I forgot to touch on this. Do you need a steering wheel to play? You need a steering wheel for me to not judge you, but you don't need a steering wheel to play. I have seen people that play on controllers. Perfectly reasonable, you know. You played driving games on controllers growing up. You want to use a controller now. I get that. Yeah, you know, this is a video game. I understand. I've seen people drive on a keyboard. I think personally, I would rather drive a spike through my skull than try to drive on a keyboard. That sounds awful. But you do you. I have also heard of people who don't drive on a keyboard, but do like I guess accelerate with their keyboard and then steer with their mouse. Ew. Like, also bad. Like, what, like you're playing on Osu controls? Are you I don't know. I would highly recommend a steering wheel, especially for the immersion. I would also recommend VR for the immersion. But everybody likes different things, you know. If you want to race somebody down the server, win, and then spam in chat, I'm using tilt controls, you fucking go for it, bro. That shit rips. And besides, this is all about the tuning JDM street culture. I imagine a good part of that culture is the weapons you bring to your battle. Right. So, anyway, it's a lot of fun. I think I'm gonna call it here for now. What time is it? Yeah, I kind of gotta get going. But maybe I'll try to get some clips of a couple of races that I have on a server. I think that could be a lot of fun. Another thing, before I go. Sorry, there's always one more thing. This game, you know, sparks a lot of creativity. The thing about Assetto Corsa is that it's so flexible and so moddable that, like, whatever you want to do is probably possible. If you want to, like, use custom shaders to make everything look different, like, you could do that. If you wanted to install, like, custom camera tools so that you can get really dynamic camera angles for your videos, you could totally do that. You could make lights appear where you want them to. You could set up AI and traffic, and, you know, make custom maps, custom cars, make paint jobs for cars. You know, there's just like an infinite number of things that you can do to the game, and I think that is really cool. Another thing I'll mention, just because my mind has been thinking about this, every time Touge content gets talked about by like a relatively large creator, like a Jimmy Broadbent or something like this, there's usually a lot of interest in it. And I noticed on one of those videos that he had posted that one of the top comments was like, oh, wouldn't this be cool if, like, it was the same idea, the same system, but there was like matchmaking in a ranked mode and stuff like that. And that's also, you know, kind of what I want, just because I really like the feeling of like progressing through ranks and being able to get higher quality matches against individuals, and just like structure and organization, everything. I feel like that is not as far-fetched as it would seem, because like there's already, I want to say, something in the ballpark of like 15 Touge maps that I know of, right? And I feel like really all it would take is like a website where you would queue, it would try to find somebody of a similar match, and obviously you would have like an MMR system, and then it would basically do like a Smash GG style thing where like, okay, you're matched up with somebody, here's a chat room where you communicate with the other person. Let's you ban a stage, all right. What's the stage gonna be? Maybe it randomizes it or something. It assigns you to like a Kaido Battle Tour server that you guys should go to because they're all different maps. It's like, hey, you guys go drive the Hapagahara outbound, you know, on Kaido Battle Tour Hapagahara, right? Then you both queue in, you report back what the result of the race was. It moves you down or up points depending upon you know, what the communication of the result is back. Aspects like how much time it took, what the rank disparity was, etc. It moves them up or down a rank, and then you re-queue, right? I feel like that is not that unreasonable. It still kind of follows like a gentleman's agreement, right? Because there's no like real way to say like, you know, say a bunch of people are queuing for this at a time. 10 people have been assigned to the Hapakahara outbound. You're racing against somebody, and then it just so happens that 2 other people that were in a race, they get into an accident because they were pushing too hard, and then they get in your way, and you know, you want to dispute like, oh, I didn't lose this race against this individual, these other people fucked it up for me. I don't really know how you handle situations like that. I don't know if you would just run it again or what. That's probably not a good enough solution, but I don't know. I feel like it's not like unfeasible. You know, there are already games and rank systems that operates on like a Scouts Honor style of like match recording, so I don't think, you know, it's not that unreasonable. I think it would be really, really cool. But I'm not sure. I don't have the expertise to work on it. I know people who might, but I definitely don't have the money to pay them either. So, GG for now. But yeah, there are offerings like a Touge Shikai or like other games that are Touge based, and I don't want to knock on those because I do want more Touge games to exist in general. But for me, like a lot of those Touge games are technically challenging, but also arcadey and loose and not very realistic because they want you to slide around, they want you to do drifts, they want it to be fast, and they want you to feel like you're a character from Initial D. But the stuff that they do in Initial D is not real. Imagine that. So me, I just like the feeling of being behind like a real car. I don't know, it just feels so much nicer to me. I just enjoy it. I like the weight of it and the fact that it doesn't just turn because I wanted to. I have to like turn it. And yeah, this is my jam. The technical courses, the 1v1 battles, the tight music, the street culture, I fuck with it. It's nice, it's fun. But anyway, I think that's enough of my rambling. I will understeer, and then I'll catch you all in the next one, alright? Let's finish off these hairpins. Let's see if I can get through them decently. A little bit of oversteer. There we go. Whip it back. Cut that corner way too tight. One more hairpin for you. Alrighty. Alright. Take it easy, everyone.